Alright guys, we're back. We're going to go ahead and start to build the big trommel, stationary trommel, the version 2. We've done a few updates since the version 1, and we're finally going to go ahead and start building making the build series. So we'll start with building the conveyor, and then we'll continue with the steps as far as the instructions go. So let's get to it. All right. So we'll go ahead and take our rail 2, which is going to be our motor mount, and then our rail 2 half. We'll make sure all of our holes are gone. All right. So let's go ahead and get our 2 halves together, and then we're gonna. It says M2 by 6, but that's wrong. Or M3 by 6. It's supposed to be these M2 by 6s. So I'll fix the instructions here. Another thing too, I wanted to show you guys. You guys can probably see how small those holes are. Much smaller than the 1.5 that we'll need. So what I'll usually do is I'll start to screw this in on all of these, and then hopefully the camera can pick it up, but you can see that bulge right here. So you can take your plastic cutters and just cut that bulge out, and that'll be good. Or, which is what I usually do, is I'll take my 1.5 millimeter drill bit. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and drill it out. I'm still getting a bulge here, so we'll clean it up a little bit. Check this back side. Okay. You got to remember, with these smaller M2 screws, very easy to strip these holes out. So what I'll do is I'll tighten it, get it snug like that, and then just do just a slight turn. Come back and do it on all of these. And there's that. We'll just make sure everything's nice and smooth. Sight it. Looks very straight. Alright, so we got that done. Let's go ahead and grab our rail mount 2s, and then you're going to be able to tell which one's which, because you're going to have your recessed holes on the top. So this is going to be for the other side. This is going to be for the side that we want, and you can just look at the instructions and kind of see the pictures. Right, and then this is going to be the other side. So you see our recessed holes here. Those go up, and then there's more recessed holes or counterboard, and those are going to face outward. So this is how it's going to sit, just like that. All right. And we're actually going to end up, we have to take this screw out, because that hole gets used for something else. All right. So I'm going to clean up these holes. This one looks good. This one, oh, not much. Cool. So in the same thing here, where is it? Oh, okay, never mind. Not on here. This one gets our M3, and that's an M3 by 8. So we're changing it up. We're not gonna mount these two together just yet. We're gonna go ahead and start mounting them on this rail. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna drill these holes out. Okay. These are going to be your M2 by 10. Clean up our edges here. Get that one started, and I'm going to go ahead and get this next one in, just to keep everything aligned. And we'll tighten this one down. Checking to see if these screws are protruding. And they are. I'm gonna swap mine out to M8s. I'm gonna adjust these files so you guys can use the 10s. Set those over there. So now we can probably get this M10 in there, or 12. I'm gonna try 12. We're gonna see if that fits. Might be a little too much. Looks like it'll be nice. I'm not going to go in all the way. I want to get these guys started as well. So I can go first. I think the 8mm are working just fine. I'm going to keep these, yeah, they're supposed to be 8, so you can see the tip just about to come out. So I'll keep those MA, I'll keep the files the same. Then we'll go ahead and tighten this M3 down. In reality, I guess you wouldn't even need it, but most support, mo better. Okay, so go ahead and just clear these, clear these guys. It's supposed to be an M2, a 2mm hole, but they look good. So what goes here is going to be one of your tensioner blocks. These guys are tiny. When you print these, there's just one file of this, you just print 2 of them. Alright, so what we'll do, same thing that we've been doing. We're going to drill out these holes here. And then what I'll usually do is, you can feel it bottom out where the hole ends. Once it does, just stop. You may not need to do this. I think these were printed on the ender. And the ender isn't a bamboo as far as tolerances. Usually gets nice and tight with the bamboo, or excuse me, the ender. The bamboo so far has been quite nice to me. So with this, we're gonna use, let's see, it says to use 10s, but we're gonna use these 8s. I think I went 10 happy in the instructions. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, it doesn't matter which way it goes. You can go like this, but what you want is obviously the holes, those holes, to be facing down.
so you can tighten it down into it. And just like before, we're gonna grab, tighten that one just so it kind of sticks, the part does. Alright, so once we get that, we're gonna go ahead and start doing our tensioners. So grab your M3 nut, and this is just a square one, but you could use the regular X one as well. Does not matter. Oop. Of course, after you get your things tightened down. Yeah, I'm using the M2 by 8mm.
Oh my god. Oh my god! Who's he? Oh, Eater's big.
So the idea of this was to thread it in. It probably would have been easier if I would have done it the other way.
Okay.
Kind of get it ready, put it in there, and then tighten it down on here. But so we'll go just there, and then you want that to be flush right there, just for right now, until we get the tensioner on there, and then we can adjust it. But the idea here was to be able to adjust the tensioner via these screws here. So this would go here. With some rods, and then you tension it, so adjusting that. So we got this side done. We'll go ahead and move on to the other side after we get the tensioner and stuff in here. Let's go ahead and get these rods. These are going to be our 3mm by 80mm. So slide them in like that, and then we'll grab our tensioner. The housing, actually. We're going to push as much as we can. We'll actually go this way. This one's really loose. This one's tight. So what I'm going to end up doing is grabbing a little bit of this glue. And we'll put a little dab. You don't need much. Just a tiny guy like that. And I'll slide that in there. And the cool part about this this glue, doesn't really matter which glue it is, super glue, any CA glue, cyanoacrylic. When you use it on metal and a plastic like this, it really grabs, but it's not necessarily permanent. You can still get this back out with some ease. Grab some pliers or something and kind of grab it. Don't push too hard. Grab it and then pry up, kind of like this. And you'll be able to get that back out if you ever needed to. So we'll make sure all that's good, and then slide it in. You want to make sure that this moves with ease. Alright, so what I ended up doing is in here I grabbed my 3mm drill bit, and I just drilled this out just to make it nice and smooth in there, and then again just to make it to where this can move just like that. And then just to show you guys again, just this tensioner, how it works is tighten the screw down. That'll be your tensioner. And I'll show you guys later here in a bit on why that's important. Especially if you're using any of the belts. I don't use the printed belt. In fact, I haven't even printed it. I only did that for people that didn't want to build them themselves. But I built this, and I built this a year ago and used it quite a bit, and it's still good, especially with this tensioner system. So We'll, this is done for now. We're going to go ahead and build this other side.
Excuse me. So we go ahead and we're going to put 2 of our bearings in here. Probably noticed that these bearings are a little bit bigger. I bought the wrong bearings, unfortunately. These are the 5mm wide bearings, so 5 by 11 by 5. These call for 5 by 11 by 4, and we're going to keep it that way. You notice it kind of goes in a little bit deeper, and that's fine. We can leave it just like that. This is going to be our drive roller. Right, so what we'll do, I'm going to go ahead and press it on. In theory, right? Come on. There you go. Nice and tight. I may add a drive roller with that you can screw, maybe a grub screw in, but I've had great success with all this so far. Right. So that's what you would do if you already put your sandpaper on. I completely forgot about this. So this is going to be one of the most important parts. Let me go ahead and pull that back off. And our bearing just fell out, so there we go. We'll leave it just like that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab some sandpaper here. Okay. Just going to rip some off. I have this massive roll for when I was selling all this, but I don't really want to do that anymore. So this is going to be 60 grit, and this is aluminum oxide sandpaper. It doesn't really matter what sandpaper it is, but like I said, this is 60 grit. Right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to grab a dull razor blade real quick. Not dull, but wasted. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this somewhat straight. Okay, we'll toss that. Alright, don't go all the way over. Maybe leave it like 5mm. It doesn't have to be all the way over. We'll roll it. Alright, we'll find our mark here. Or make a mark, excuse me. And all I'm doing is just making that mark there. We'll go ahead and pull it off. We'll find where I made that mark. In theory. I really didn't make a good mark, so make a good mark. Something like that. There we know it's right there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to eyeball it and just cut it across. Put it back on there. Make sure it's good. So it's a little tight or a little too big, so we're going to cut a little more off. I'm just going to cut a little bit. It's okay if you have a small gap in there. Don't worry about that. Alright. Then what we're going to do is we're going to grab some glue. Okay. This is sticky. Has a sticky back. Unfortunately, it doesn't really stick too well to these prints. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the back of this sticky part. You don't need to add much, just on these edges really. And then I'll just dab. Just dab it. The most important part is these edges here. Definitely want those to be good. So then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start. And remember, you want to leave it about maybe 4 or 5 millimeters over. In this case, it looks like it's more like 4. Slowly roll it over. And then you're going to want to press. You might get a little glue on your fingers here. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of pulling these, trying to get this gap here as tight as I can by pulling over on both. Another cool thing about this this sandpaper, I'm going to call it grip tape. It's not sandpaper, it's grip tape. Looks good. So then you can kind of just maybe roll it around like this just to try and get it all nice and smushed in there. And then that adhesive backing is going to help us. If you guys didn't get the adhesive backing, don't fret. You'll be able to do this with just about any of these, any sandpaper, any brand. And then we'll see if I could use this cutoff to finish this off. And I'm okay with that. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to put the gap opposite. So what we'll do is we'll figure out where we want to cut it. Be careful if you're using a razor blade. Safety first. Alright. I'm trying to get this thing straight as possible, that way I can cut it straight. So I'll look at it with my razor blade. That looks okay. So we'll do that. Just double check. I can live with that. Same thing, just on these edges. And then we're going to go opposite of this groove over here. And like I said, you don't have to fret. I'm going to have that gap missing, but it's okay. You're still going to have more than enough grip all the way around. So we are prepped. Let's go ahead and get our bearings back in here. Press this guy on. Beauty. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and set that aside. Let's go ahead and grab all of our rollers here. Let's go ahead and insert our bearings. Oh, that's tight. So that side fit. This side's a little tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get these in here and spread them out and then just go around in a circle. Kind of use it as like a deburring tool. See if I can get it to go in. There we go. Looks good. I'll grab a hammer. Grab this smooth hammer here. Just kind of maybe set it right here, and you don't gotta hit it hard if this is what you have to do. Okay, so there's one roller. So go ahead and slide that on here. All right, and go to our next. If you guys have one of these, this might work too. It's a deburring tool. Just get that in here and go like this. Really not easy to get them in here. I'll tell you what, a hammer will do it. So this is the side that was on the print bed. It's cool too, this tool spins. It's pretty awesome. I had a bunch of these tips, but I lost them. But this one's still nice and sharp. These ones actually, I'm not going to use any bearings on these. If this was me, I would have bearings on all of them, unfortunately, because these are the bigger bearings. They won't fit inside these. And I just don't feel like I need to have all of these on bearings. These spin just fine without them, so we're going to leave it just like that. And then get your bearings inside of your self-aligning idle roller. That feels nice. Okay, so then got to move some of this stuff out of the way. All right, so let's go ahead and get this on. Because I tapped all these, I'm going to have to align every single one. There we go. Just make sure all of them spin freely. These ones definitely need to be worked. Feels good there. Man, I wish I had the right bearings for these. Make sure these are spinning nice and freely. I may just stay here and do this for a little while just to get them to spin nicely. Like this one spins good. That one's nice. I'll have to take these back off and redo them or drill them out. I may try and find some different hardware for these guys. I don't really like these screws. It works fine there, but it seems to be the only one. Okay, so we got that. Next is going to be your belt. You're going to make your belt here. So you notice I have two seams here. I actually ran out of the material to do this. So what you're going to do for this belt, I have other videos on how I've done these belts for my portable trommel screener and for some of the conveyor belts I've done. You'll notice that this is pretty much the same thing. So with this this belt, it's going to be, let me see if I don't even have it. I mean, you could print it. Like I said, I haven't printed it. I don't really care for the printed belts. I really like making them. I think they're much more reliable, and they just have more grip. Now, I just started experimenting with the TPE filament, and I'll be honest, it feels a lot like this stuff. So I have printed some belts, especially with the new conveyor screener I made, and I do like those, but those have gear. They're kind of gear driven belts. They have gears on the inside or teeth. So with this belt, if you're going to be making it, it's going to be 100 millimeters wide. Okay, and then let me see if I can get the best way to do this. What I would do is measure it. So you got 16. We're going to say 16 and a quarter. So, or what would that be in? So 380. So like 405 millimeters. So what you're going to do is just double that. So go to 800 millimeter, or with this, just go 32. Right? And you're probably wondering, like, well, what about the roll and all that? Well, with this, if you're making it, it stretches. So that's the best part about that. So actually go a little bit longer because you want there to be a nice overlap. I did like about a 25, 30 millimeter overlap. Yeah, 30, 33, 30, 30 millimeter. So 1 inch. So make it, what did we say, 16? So 16, 17. So 34 inches or maybe 450 millimeters. So once you do that, we'll go ahead and get our guy over this drive roller here. And then we're going to pull it. We'll just grab it right here. And we'll slide it over. There's that. Push all these. And you guys are probably wondering why do you not have anything to lock these together? So once we get this finished, we're going to start building the frame for the hopper and all that, and that's when this will get bolted in via all this. So right now this is looking good. It looks like the tensioner could be close. We'll just make sure that this is the same distance. We got 5.6, 5.3. So what I want to do, this feels like it's not going to slip. You can kind of do this to see if it's going to slip. It looks like it will slip. So we're going to go ahead and go a little bit longer on this. Just go twice as long. We're going to go 10 mil. Nine 9.9. Cool. That's pretty much exact. That's how the tensioner system would work. And yeah, you can feel it now. Now there's I can't get it to spin on that rear. Perfect. That's about what we want. And like I said, I went 10 millimeter on this. You may need to go a little bit more, may not even need it at all. The goal here is to not really have to use this tensioner at all. So, gold beans. Let's go ahead and set that to the side. All right, and then we're going to go, oh, you know what? We need to go ahead and get these on. We'll set this on this edge here. And these are going to be 2x5. We're going to use 6s, M2x6s. I believe all these are the same length. So the only difference you're going to see in these guys is this edge right here. Two of these are going to have a radius on this corner, and that radius is going to go towards the back of the belt here. Okay. Oh, I'll drill these out. Where's Brandy? Oh. Of course. It's cool they wanted to take Bowski. It's cool they wanted to take Bowski. Hell yeah.
And so these are going to be the guides. Inside guide 1, 2, 3, 4. Alternatively, if you don't feel like screwing these in, you can glue them on, I guess. All right, so we've completed the conveyor assembly. Looks good. So we'll go ahead and set that to the side, and in the next part we'll go and start building the hopper assembly. Just make sure, well, the framework and all that for the hopper. So we'll get to that in the next part.